welcome to the Bluegrass family. If you haven't been here or you're new to our channel, I'm Cassie and I'm so excited for today's video. I've actually wanted to do this video for a really long time, and it is about hosting a family gathering or hosting a party. And as the years pass on and we as homemakers, we have family members that have hosted for many years, but they're starting to kind of age out of hosting, and it's now becoming our responsibility to take on their legacy of hosting family and bringing family together. And it's such an important thing to continue to have family gatherings and to continue to celebrate family, if that's through a family reunion, a holiday gathering, or a birthday party. Those are such important things that we can do for our families, and it's a beautiful gift that we can give to them. And I think that is something that as a homemaker, kind of one of my core values as a homemaker, one of the things I want to leave behind is that legacy of love, or legacy of bringing family together and having family surrounding us in the holidays and through birthday parties. And so this past week I actually got to host my daughter's 8th birthday party, and so I want to walk you through that entire process of what I did and give you some tips and some insight into how that you can plan a family gathering in a simple but meaningful way, and some of the things that you might want to consider as you are planning a gathering. And that's obviously going to change depending on what type of gathering that you're planning on hosting. If you're hosting in your home, in a venue, who all you're planning on hosting, if it's a large family reunion or if it's a small immediate family gathering for a holiday. That can change a lot of different aspects, but the core process of planning any type of gathering, I feel like, follows the same guidelines. And so with this being the month of March, it's still pretty early on in the year, and so the first major holiday that we all get to celebrate, and it's a beautiful gift, is Easter. And so that is actually one of my most favorite holidays. It's a beautiful gift. It's a reminder of what Jesus has done for us. It's the beautiful gift of salvation, and who wouldn't want to celebrate that gift and that relationship that we get to have with Jesus? And so today's video is actually, like I said, about hosting a party, but hosting this party, I'm just thinking in my mind of the holidays that are coming soon, and the holiday being Easter. And so if you are a homemaker and you're thinking, okay, well, I need to be preparing and planning, and one of the holidays that are upcoming is Easter, you can take some of these principles from this video and apply that to if you are planning on hosting Easter, or if you do have a birthday party coming up that you're planning. But like I said, birthdays and family gatherings, they're special. They're just a reminder that we should never take any of the days that we have together for granted, and we should celebrate the blessing of another year together each and every year. But I truly believe that this video will help you as you take on your role as a host. I want you to feel confident in hosting, and I don't want it to feel overwhelming. I want to explain this and lay it all out in a way that will prepare you and help you instead of overwhelm you and make you feel like that you have to check so many boxes you don't even know where to start. So even though, like I said, this particular video is about hosting a birthday party, the steps and planning process, like I said, would be the same. So the first step in the process of planning any type of gathering is who is going to be invited. And when are you planning on hosting the gathering? So you need to consider if you're planning, like I said, to have a small family gathering with immediate family, a large family gathering like a family reunion, if you're celebrating a holiday, a birthday, if you're hosting a baby shower, a bridal shower, or a wedding, engagement party, something like that. There's all different types of gatherings. And I think as you get older, especially the age that I am now, I'm in my early 30s, and I'm thinking about all of these different things happening: baby showers, bridal showers, birthdays, engagements, holidays. And so some of my family are sort of getting older. Not that they're aging out of hosting, but but we're starting to kind of take on a little bit more of the responsibility, and then, you know, pretty soon it will be us hosting these family gatherings. And so, like I said, the first step is planning who you're planning to invite and how many people that you're planning on having. So obviously, like I said, that revolves around the type of gathering that you're having, but you need a good solid list of who you plan to invite. Then you can chat with them, either if it's a smaller party, maybe individually or in a group chat, and kind of get a feel for it. And that also just depends on when you're planning on hosting the gathering, because if you have months in advance to plan, then you can obviously be able to chat with people early on so that they can free up time to be able to make it to like a family reunion, if that's, usually people plan those out pretty far in advance. Or if it's anything to do with a wedding, it's obviously usually a while in advance. Planning the dates, and this is something that I really want to put in here because I feel like that I can be a bit of a people pleaser, and I think you need to understand that you're not going to be able to please everyone with your date, time, location, food, venue, all the things that you need to make decisions about. You're not going to be able to please everybody, but you can do your best to accommodate others' schedules within reason. But outside of people's jobs or careers, you shouldn't feel obligated to plan around someone else's made plans, especially if planning in advance, because some people will just inevitably not be able to attend, and that is understandable. And it's also understandable that you can't change your hosting plans to suit everyone. So that's the entry point, is just deciding who's going to be coming and basically how large of a gathering you're hosting, if it's for a holiday, a birthday, a baby shower, a bridal shower, and then obviously setting your date and setting your time. And something else to consider when setting a date and time is where you're planning to host, because if it's a small gathering at home, you can obviously do that whenever you want. But if you're planning on doing it at a venue, then you obviously have to consider their dates that have already been booked up. So that's something to think about. But now moving on to the date and time. So once you've chatted and figured out a time and a date that seems to work well for most, you can officially pencil that in. And this is important because now starts the planning breakdown of what to do and when. So what I like to do is, once I actually have a date set in mind, so let's just say this is March and I'm planning to host a family gathering for Easter. And I'm planning it to be between 20 and 30 people. We're going to do it in my home. And we're going to do it on Easter weekend, on that Saturday. So this is what I would do as a planner. And I am a bit of a planner, so I like to break things down into easy to accomplish steps. And so I would break down, okay, how many weeks do we have until Easter? So we're at the end of March, and Easter is probably 3 weeks or 4 weeks away. I think it's closer to 4 weeks. So what would need to happen during each of these weeks leading up to Easter? Okay, well, I know that it's going to be an Easter gathering, so I'm going to need to let people know that, hey, what weekend, what time, does this weekend work for you? Does this time work for you on this Saturday at 2 p.m. for Easter? Okay, that's great. Let's do it on this Saturday at this time. And then we would need to discuss, okay, well, am I planning on making all of the food myself, or am I planning on delegating some of that and making it more of a potluck style thing where maybe we take care of the meats or the main dishes and everyone else brings sides, and then someone might bring drinks. And so that's kind of what I would do as I was deciding to go through that process of planning. And so then I would think to myself also desserts. So food, drink, desserts, that would be probably on the top of my list. And then I would also consider decorations. If I was going to do any type of little Easter centerpieces or table centerpieces or anything like that, I would consider the decorations and the food and the dessert and the drinks. And then I would also plan out If I needed to get decorations, I probably need to go ahead and get on that. Either if I'm planning to make them or buy them, I need to be thinking about what I want to do and choose a design or choose an idea and then get started on that. So that might be the very first week. And then the second week, I may go ahead and make an entire menu plan and say, okay, this person is going to bring these sides. We're going to supply the meats. Maybe I'll go ahead and try to purchase the meats that we're going to supply so that we have those on hand. And just make sure that all of our boxes are checked as far as who's bringing the food or drinks or desserts and things like that, and all of what we're going to have to serve. Then the third week, I would focus in on, okay, what are my seating arrangements? Are we going to have some seating outside on the patio? Are we going to move some things around inside to accommodate more seats or tables? And then the very final week leading up to the occasion or the gathering, I would make sure that every single day that week that we would take care of cleaning, we would take care of probably either making some of the meats in advance or making desserts in advance, making sure that the day before, the day of, we have everything set up and decorated. So that's kind of the flow of how I go about planning most gatherings, and that is really the same for, like I said, it's the same for a small family gathering, or it would be the same for maybe something that's mid-sized, like a birthday party. So the location, like I've mentioned the location a little bit, but are you going to host in your home, or are you going to rent a venue and have others maybe pitch in for the cost? If it's a party that you want to host at a place that is more suitable for a larger crowd or children, then you can consider, obviously, where this is going to take place. And this obviously depends a lot on how big of a gathering you're hosting. So like I said, we have hosted in our home for different occasions, Christmas, Thanksgiving, birthday parties, things like that, and we don't have a large home. So I like to host, but I like to host usually in the warmer months where we are able to kind of mainly be outside around our fire pit or on the patio, where we do have extra tables that we store in our garage that we bring out, put on the table with some chairs, which offers a lot more seating, and it just feels more open and spacious being able to put those out there and have people sitting. We have different chairs and seating already out there, and so we're able to host 30 to 50 people without it feeling too cramped. Like I said, the theme of your gathering really depends on what type of gathering it is. If it's a holiday like Easter, then your theme would obviously center around that. If it's a birthday, then I like to generally do it around a topic or a theme that is of interest for that individual. Like my daughter's birthday was done, her theme was space. And so we did a space cake, we had space centerpieces, and we did I don't overdo decorations, especially for birthday parties. I just keep it very simple, but we did do a few things. And so if it's a holiday, then obviously that becomes the main theme. But if it's a family reunion or some other kind of gathering that doesn't necessarily have a theme, I usually just stick with whatever season that it's being hosted in. So if it's in the spring, then we'll do like flowers or more, like the colors of spring, maybe pastels, things like that. If it's in the summer, then we'll stick with like yellow and the sun and sunflowers and things of that nature. The fall would be mums, and different, maybe some changing leaves, different colored leaves and things like that. And then obviously winter would be like blues and snowflakes. So those are the types, like if the gatherings are in a specific season and not centered around a holiday or not centered around a party for someone specifically, then those are the type of themes that I like to stick with. Now that we've made not the most important decisions, but we have kind of built the foundation of our gathering. So we have laid this foundation, and now we're working on getting the structure formed. And we need to think about the cost and the budget of what we're hosting. And so this is probably the most important aspect, because we need to focus on If we're doing it at our home, that's going to save us quite a bit of money because we don't have to pay for a venue. But if we're going to be having it at a venue, then we need to consider the cost of that. And then we also have to consider the cost of decorations if we buy them versus if we make them, the cost of food if we have it catered versus if we purchase the food and cook it ourselves. And the same goes for any type of cake or dessert if you have someone else make your cake or desserts versus you making them yourself. And also, so sometimes for a birthday party or some other type of event, you'll have activities that you need to consider the cost of those activities, like an inflatable for a birthday party. So yeah, it really just depends on what you're wanting to do. For my daughter's birthday party, I'll just use this as an example because it's something that I just hosted this past week. We did it at our church, which is just a big open gym, and it had a really large, just a really large space for kids to run around and play with the basketballs. And then there was an outdoor section where kids can play on the playground. And so there was lots for them to do. And so I didn't focus on specific activities or crafts or anything like that because there was so much for them to run around and do and play together that I just wanted it to be more of their choice of what they wanted to do. And also, I'm not going to pay $250 to rent an inflatable. So, I mean, some people will, and if you will, that's fine. But I'm not going to personally pay that because that is even more than the cost of the food or where I'm having it at. So, to me, I'm just not going to worry about that because there was already things there for them to do. And now we're going to focus on my favorite part, which is planning the food. So for this birthday party, I planned it about a month in advance. I let people know when it was, what time it was. I did end up changing its location. At first we were going to do it at home, but then I decided I didn't know what the weather would do, and I wanted to do it at the church, which for us was a very minimal cost to have it there. So that was a very efficient way for us to have it somewhere else, and it was very budget friendly. And then I wanted to provide the food, so I wanted to make the food myself because for one, that saves us money, and two, I just like to be in control of the food. And then I used to make cakes, and so because I have experience cake decorating and making cakes for other people, I did also make the cake and the cupcakes. And then I didn't make any of the decorations. I just purchased a few things from Amazon, a few plastic tablecloths, a few of the little space-themed centerpieces, a couple of balloons that were shaped like a moon, and a few iridescent-style tablecloths, and that was the extent of the decorations. I don't do a lot of decorations. It was very simple, very affordable, and then also our food for the party. So that's what we're talking about right now, and we decided to go with a taco bar because a couple of reasons. A taco bar is something I can make in the crock pot and take, so I was able to make the taco meat, I was able to make the refried beans, the cheese dip, cut up all of the cold things, and do everything in advance. So all of the cold prep of the vegetables I was able to do pizza the day before. Yeah, we did pizza too. The day before, and then the taco bar stuff, the meat and the cheese dip we did the day of, and then I was able to make the cakes a day or two in advance. So I made the cakes, wrapped them in plastic wrap, and then I decorated the cake the day of. So, but planning the food, like I said, we decided to go with the taco bar because it was budget friendly and it could feed quite a few people, and it was easy for me to prep in advance. And so when I plan on making the food myself, the week of the party, I do have to really consider what I need to do on each day. So like I said, on Thursday, I made all of the cakes and part of the cupcakes. And then on Friday, I finished baking 1 or 2 rounds of the cupcakes, made the icing and frosted the cake and decorated it. And also early that morning, I got up and put everything in the crock pot so that they could be cooking. So, and the night before, I had prepped all of the cold vegetables. So that's kind of how I did everything. And I was able to get it all done. We were there on time and everything was fine. So the next thing that you would consider if you were doing any type of party would be drinks, what type of drinks that you want to have. Like punch or pop or ice cream floats or tea or lemonade. You need to consider the drinks and if you're going to make those or buy them. And then also we talked about the decorations, and so we kind of already covered that, so I'm not going to go into any more detail. And then we discussed the activities also. So, and the reasons why I chose the gym. And then when it's time to actually execute the gathering that you're going to have, make sure, depending on the size of your event, that you have delegated tasks accordingly. And I will just be very honest, I am not a huge fan of delegating tasks. I like doing things and kind of, I guess in my brain, I know what I've done, what needs to be done, and I just can keep track of it without having to worry about telling this person to do that and that person to do that. But it's not easier to do it that way, and especially if you're having a large gathering like a family reunion or something like that, or you're hosting quite a bit of family for a holiday, I highly suggest being a good delegator. And so that would require you to be okay with giving some of these tasks. Say you give the decorations. Okay, we need you to take care of the decorations. Whether you buy them, make them, we just need you to plan it, show up early, set it up. That's going to be your thing or this group of people's thing. We need these people to bring food. So what food are you going to bring? Who else is going to help with that? We need these people to do desserts, these people to do drinks. We need these people to help set up, clean up. And then once you have all of that kind of squared away, you're going to have to do something like that when you're hosting a large gathering. Because if you're having it catered, then are you going to allow people to self-serve, or are you going to have the caterers to serve the food? Or if you're doing a potluck style, then that's more of a self-serve. So those are just decisions that as a host you're going to have to make, and then you're also going to have to be okay with asking people to do certain tasks or finding out what they can do. So make sure that you have some sort of schedule for the time of your party. So like say that you get there and you want to have a few appetizers while people chat. Make sure you have a schedule kind of outlining what's going to go on. Say that your party's for 2 hours. During that 2 hours, what are you going to do? A lot of baby showers will open up with food, and then they'll start doing games, and then they'll kind of play a few different games, and they'll move on to opening gifts. That's just an example of a gathering that you may host, and just the flow of it. So let me see here. I have notes. So we discussed all of that. We did. Okay. And like I said, when we have gatherings, I almost always just cook. There are several of us women who cook and bring food for holidays. So like if we're hosting some type of family gathering for a holiday, a lot of us will just cook and bring things to it. But whenever I'm hosting something like a birthday party or something in my house, I do like to cook, so I will cook a lot of the food and just bring it. And like I said, when it's a birthday party especially, we did have pizza at the party as well, but I like having plenty of options for people, especially when there's kids involved, and so that's also something to think about. But I hope that this was helpful for you. I know this is a little bit different of a video, but I felt like that this is kind of a good time to post a video about hosting gatherings, because we have a lot of gatherings coming up. This is the beginning of the year still, and there's Easter, and there's Memorial Day, and there's 4th of July, and there's just so many different things coming up, and birthday parties. And if you're a mom or a homemaker, you may be hosting for the first time, and you may just feel overwhelmed by what you should do or the decisions that you need to make, or maybe this is not even a topic that you ever even discuss with someone. Or maybe you didn't have anyone in your life that you got to watch do this, watch host, but you want to implement that in your own family. And so I feel like that, I hope that this video was helpful to give you an idea of how to plan in advance and what decisions that you need to make, and how that you can do that in a simple way, but keep it organized and prepare in advance. And when I have a plan, they always say, fail to plan, plan to fail. And so I like to have a plan. I like to sit down and write notes and do a schedule and have a grocery list and know when I'm going to go to the grocery store and pick up those groceries and begin cooking and know what I'm doing for all of these different things. And so if you have a notebook, it will become your best friend if you're going to be hosting a gathering. And it's just part of the process of hosting, is just being able to make that plan and then follow through with that plan, delegate tasks, and pull it all together and kind of build the home of your gathering. So it's important, like I said in the beginning of the video, that that this generation, our generation, as we're kind of entering this middle era of life, that we want to continue to bring our families together and to love on people and to bring people together. And I've said it many times that a lot of the times that's done through food and through gatherings. And so fostering that connection, fostering those family bonds, it is priceless. And so even though it can seem a little bit overwhelming to consider hosting a birthday party or hosting your family's Easter or your family's Christmas, it's truly a gift. And so changing your perspective of feeling overwhelmed by, oh, there's so much that I need to do and so much that, just take a breath and think about the gift that it is to create, to be kind of the curator of those memories, the kind of the artist of that family moment, because you were able to facilitate that and execute that gathering in a way that brought everyone together, that fed everyone, that made everyone feel welcomed and loved. And that is a gift that you can give to others. And that's just kind of part of, like I've said in some of my other videos, just the servant-hearted homemaking and the importance of it and the effects of it and how it can truly be a legacy and a lifelong thing. And I think there have been several people in my life that have truly inspired me to want to be that way. My Granny Ava was one of the people that inspired me. Every single Sunday, she had Sunday dinner, and her kids would come, and we would all come, and she would just have 2 tables in her kitchen, her little farmhouse kitchen, completely full of different dishes that she had just cooked and made, and we would all come and we would eat. And as a kid, I probably took that for granted, but as an adult now, and I think about that now, I think about how much time and effort and energy she poured into those Sunday lunches for us. And it wasn't just like here and there, it was every single Sunday. My mom is a wonderful host. She has always been just phenomenal at breaking this all down, getting everything done, hosting our family gatherings. And we don't have a small family, we have a large family. So she's great at it. My neighbor is amazing at hosting. She has a plethora of children and friends, and they all come, and she's a wonderful host. And there's just something about those homes where those gatherings take place and the love that you can feel inside and share with others. And so don't be overwhelmed, but look at it as a gift. Listen to the video, take notes, get yourself a notebook, prepare like you would with anything. If you're going to take a college class or if you're going to do anything else, sometimes people think, oh, it's just homemaking and there's no work or thought process that goes into what we do as homemakers or what we do as hosts. But it's just like anything else. It takes time, commitment, love, energy, planning, and like you would if you were going to take a college class. You need to take notes, you need to prepare. But like I said, if you prepare and plan, then you can follow through. And obviously you want to also just enjoy the party yourself and be present, and not let the little things just eat at you. Just let those things go. Don't overthink the things. It doesn't have to be something big and fancy, and everything doesn't have to be perfect, but it can be planned and organized and orderly and that will make it feel a lot more peaceful and calming. So like I said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. I hope it's useful for you. Let me know